everybody! In this video, I'm going to explain how you can know what your grade will be at the end of the course once you have scores for all of the possible assessments. Now, what this is not for is if you're trying to figure out what your grade is so far in the course based on only the assessments that we've taken. For instance, at the time this video is recorded in the term, we had only taken these assignments and we still have test 5 and the final exam to do. So if a student just wants to know how they did so far over just these assessments, that grade is available to you in Blackboard Gradebook. So you don't need this spreadsheet for that. You always have your estimated course grade available in Blackboard. However, if you would like to know what's your best case scenario all the way to the end of the term, or if you want to know what you would need to get on these final 2 assessments in order to reach a certain score, this is what this spreadsheet will do for you. So I will make this available. It's an Excel spreadsheet, and I'll make it so that you can download it and open it up with Excel or with Google Sheets so that you can use this. You can also just use paper and pencil, except it's not as easy to experiment when you're doing it with paper and pencil, but it's still not too hard, so I'll explain. So let's say you're using my spreadsheet. Now, if you use this, just keep in mind that when you go to enter scores, you can't enter them anywhere but in the yellow cells. Notice that if I tried to enter something down here, it's giving me an error because we don't want anything that I've programmed for calculations to get accidentally messed up. So this is locked down here so that you can't enter anything. It doesn't mean that anything's wrong with it. It just means that you need to go up to the yellow cells, and only those are changeable by the user. All right, so once you get into a yellow cell, you can start entering values. So let's say I got 86.63% of my homework and participation score so far, and a 79 on the first test, a 65 on the second test, a 50.5, and a 40.8. Oh boy, it looks like transitioning to online did not go over well with me, but I'm hoping that I can regain my footing and still finish strong. So what do I need to do, or what's my best case scenario? Can I even still pass the class at this point? So if I put 100 into both of these remaining score assessments, these are predicted scores, then I can see what my best case scenario grade is down here at the bottom. So if I scored perfectly on the last 2 tests, I would get a B in the course. So that's encouraging, but I don't think I'm going to get 100% on both of those tests. That seems a little too ambitious. So let's bring it down to 70s. That seems a little bit more my speed. And now look, oh, I still get a 70.14. That's just enough for me to get a C and pass the class. So what if I did a little better than that? Let's say I got Bs, low Bs. With low Bs, I'm still in the C range. If I got 90s on those last 2 assessments, then I'm up in the B range. So now I have a really good idea of what I need to do in order to get a great grade in this class, or at least an acceptable grade, depending on what you consider to be acceptable. Now, it's worth me explaining down here how this part of it is set up so that you can do it with paper and pencil if you'd like. So if you want to try it with paper and pencil, try to understand what I have done here. I have first the homework and participation grade shown down here. 100 points are possible, so your percentage score translates directly to grade points earned. And that's true for all of these assessments. The only one that is not worth 100 points is the final exam, which is worth 200 points. So all these scores that you see here are going to become grade points, but the final exam will be double the grade points in the end there, okay? So if you were doing this with paper and pencil, you would just take all your scores and add them together, but just make sure to double your final exam percentage as points. Then once you total that together, you have your total grade points earned. Turn it into a percentage so you'll know what letter grade that is. And so notice that I have an 80.14%. That's because we're dividing the 641.13 divided by 800 and times 100 to make it a percentage. So that way you'll know how to do that with paper and pencil. Also notice that I've change the labeling down here from how it looks up here. It's not exactly the same thing, and that's on purpose. Here I have test 1, test 2, test 3, test 4, test 5. Down here I have highest test, second highest test, third highest test, fourth highest test, and lowest test, or the final exam, whichever is higher. Because remember, as stated in the syllabus, if you have a low test score and the final exam is better, then the final exam will be counted in place of that low test score. And that counts even if you've missed a test and then you have a 0 for a missed test, then the final exam will replace that grade. So you can even fiddle around a little bit with what changes when you change these values to different things, because one of them is going to affect your grade more heavily than the other, because the final exam, if it's higher than your lowest test score, it's going to come up here and also become one of your 5 test scores. So that means your final exam is kind of doing double duty there if it's better than your lowest test score. So you might find that even if you didn't do all that great on test 5, if you really smashed it for final exam, that could make a huge difference to your grade. So you can play with those numbers, and experiment as much as you want, which is awesome. So I hope that helps. I hope you understand now how to figure out where you are in the course and where you can end up. And if you have questions, I hope you'll email me. I'm here to help. I hope everybody's staying safe and well. Take care.